May the Noble Triple bless all of you. Welcome to another chapter of Aloka Dhamma discussion session. JAYA TV, along with Malasekara Foundation, with the objective of spreading the pure Buddhism around the world, organizing these Dhamma discussion sessions. With an honor, I would like to welcome Chief Advisor to the Sri Sudassana Rama Monastery at Battaramulla, Venerable Mirise Dhammika Thero, to the studio today as well. So I thought to start today's discussion just to have a conversation about a perception some of the Western Pandits has about the Buddhism, and some of them consider Buddhism as a pessimistic philosophy because of its concern with suffering. But we know it is not, because Buddhism, yes, it is explaining the bad news of suffering, but it also prescribes the proactive courses of treatment. So how do you explain this philosophy or the perception?
Thank you and Anumodana. Dear Dhamma friends, first of all, I would like to wish and bless, including Mr. Ruan Karagala and all of you, be well and happy. With that question, I would like to answer like this. Mr. Karagala, even in Sri Lanka, some people have, when we talk about dukkha, simply when we translate into English, suffering is a kind of negative feelings what we are going to have in our mind. Therefore, even here in Sri Lanka, we have to talk to our people the real meaning of dukkha, what it is. Of course, dukkha means unsatisfactory rather than calling it suffering. Because of the word of suffering is kind of negative feelings are going to create in people's mind. So that's why when we talk about dukkha or suffering, they get scared of that kind of hearing so voice. So that's why we have to realize the real meaning of this word of dukkha. Dukkha means when we face four objects, sometimes we don't like. At that time, normal or ordinary human mind reacts towards that object. At that time, they have kind of negative feelings of unsatisfactory. And then we call as dukkha. At the same time, meaning says, oh, it's a kind of negativity in our mind. We don't want to face for that kind of perceptions. At the same time, we don't want to continue that kind of path. So that's why we have to explain dukkha means nothing what you meant when you face problems what you don't like. Just you have to realize the real nature of this life. That means everything has the nature of arising, has the nature of passing away. Convincingly, it's me, that's fine, but absolutely nothing to say my own mind. Therefore, being a virtuous person, you can call yourself myself, or me, or I am. At the same time, conventionally, you can call your loved ones, including parents, wife and husband, brothers and sisters. You are in my life, that's all right. But still, we have to train our mind to accept the truth of dukkha or impermanence. That means dukkha means so unsatisfactory. Impermanence means anicca. Anicca means impermanence. And then if we are not trained in this kind of path, just we feel, I don't like it. So that's why we call it is suffering. But when we talk to our people, it's all right, convincingly it's me, but absolutely nothing to say my own mind. Therefore, we have to explain to our audience, though you are having kind of feelings of negativity when we use the word of dukkha, but just think that's the nature of this human reality, human mind, the nature of human nature. If we came to this world, of course we have to go through old age, sicknesses. Finally, we have to meet with final destination of death. Only thing is just you have to be virtuous, or you have to be kind and wise, and then face for the problem. And then you don't want to take any kind of, that kind of, feelings, what you don't like, as a failure. But you have to face for the problems. Just think it's an adventure. And then you can go through with, understandable happiness. We call as a hasupanya. Hasupanya means just you are going to realize the nature of the world and the human mind or human nature. At the same time, you are not going to invite any kind of negativities into your mind. But still, you are all right. You are happy. But you have to realize the nature of this human nature. So we have to say Buddhism is not pessimistic or optimistic, but it is realistic.
Yes, sir. Just to answer this, understanding this nature, actually, it is very, very important for us as corporate leaders also, because one of the most difficult thing and the problem what we face now with when we work with people is overconfidence. Overconfidence might be because of not understanding the reasons, and it's in the management it says you'll have to go and first understand the reason for the problem that you have. So I hope that is going in hand with the Buddhist philosophy. And so you mentioned about unsatisfaction. So there can be two types of unsatisfaction. One is about material wealth and inner wealth.
Yeah.
How, as lay persons, how we can manage this wealth, material and inner? One should be more than the other, or should be balanced equally?
Yes, Mr. Karagala, first thing is just we have to talk to our own mind. As we explained before, just we have to accept the truth of nothing is permanent. Everything is impermanent. Transient are all component things. In our Buddhist culture, actually from our childhood, we have trained already while offering flowers in front of the Buddha statue. Nothing is permanent. Having comparison with our own life, these blossoms are subject to get withered. And then we know what's going to be with our own lives. Moment by moment, just we are losing our mental and physical health. By knowing this truth, just we have to talk to our own mind. That means we have to train our internal way of thinking. In Buddhism, it says ajjata. Just you have to look into your own mind. That means the seeing your internal factors, what's happening. Therefore, when you observe clearly your patterns of mind or your patterns of thoughts, what you are going to create in your mind, you have to understand nothing is permanent. Thoughts come and go, appear and disappear. With the realization of this nature of thoughts, and then we understand nothing is permanent. Therefore, just you have to live at the present moment. At the same time, just train your mind to accept the truth of nothingness, and then your mind is all right. When you go through sicknesses, old age, departing from loved ones, not getting what we want, etc., you understand. So that's the nature. Only thing is just we have to be active. We have to solve our problems. At the same time, we have to find solutions for day-to-day problems. And then your inner peace is just still is remaining. This is what we are asking you to maintain your peace of your mind. At the same time, Mr. Karagala, you asked how about the external factors of just, when we talk about unsatisfactory, sometimes they are having overconfidence of their, some materialistic things. Of course, when you continue your duties, just say, when you study, of course, you have to be confident in your studies. At the same time, when you do your jobs or duties or whatever, of course, you have to be confident in your duties. But your area, your capacity, everything is And then Of course, you have to have a group support. At the same time, you have to have a kind of backup of your thoughts and feeling. If it is not going to be fulfilled at the same, and then what I'm going to do with that kind of problems? Therefore, you don't want to be overconfident, but you have to create your trust, the feelings of your trustworthiness. At the same time, your confidence and everything, of course, you have to create in your mind, but still you have to train your mind to accept the truth of nature. Nothing is permanent. Any time it may collapse. Any time we may lose everything, but we don't want to get upset. But that's the nature. But with the confidence of our own mind, also with the support of our colleague or other group, just we have to face for the situations. And then, because everybody's asking for happiness, mental happiness, we have to work towards everything while asking for mental happiness. Therefore, whether it's internal factors or also outside materialistic factors or whatever, but still we have to find mental happiness through that kind of situation. So that's why we are asking, according to the Buddha's teachings, of course, live at the present moment. Nothing is permanent. With the training of your mind, live now, be active, work towards your success, and then without having any kind of mental failures, but you have to have success in your mind.
Just to add, Venerable Sir, from again more towards management angle, one of the golden rules in human resource development is that what Sir you just mentioned, look into your mind.
Yeah.
So in human resource management language, it is about self-realization and self-evaluation. And that is where we have to theoretically start when we try to develop people. So which again going along with the philosophy of Lord Buddha's the teaching.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned about suffering, and you mentioned that Buddhism not necessarily is a pessimistic or an optimistic philosophy, but suffering is a fact. And basically there are 4 unavoidable physical sufferings, which is birth, old age, sickness and death. So if we start with the birth, is birth a real suffering or not?
Mm-hmm. Mr. Ruan Karagala, I got a question from your question. That means, do you think life is suffering? Do you think life is suffering? I know. You may say, of course, according to the teachings of the Buddha, life is suffering. I'm asking you, being a humanist, what do you think? We have to think or not? Birth is suffering. Being a human is a great chance what we got. According to the teachings of the Buddha, we have suffered for billions, millions lives in our past because of illusion or delusion. According to the Pali means avijja. As we explained, nothing is permanent. But if our mind is not trained to accept the truth of anicca, anicca means nothing is permanent, and then just we are forgetting the reality of this life or the nature. That means nothing is permanent. Always it's having constant changes. When we call it's me or it's you, it's conventional. If we are not trained our mind to accept the truth, always just jumping over. That means just we are creating lots of some dreams in our mind, and then we are grasping, oh, it is permanent. It is permanent. It's in my life forever. So that's a problem. So therefore, we are asking people to train your mind to accept the truth of anicca, that means impermanence. If you are not trained to accept the truth, always just you are asking, you are inviting unsatisfactory into your mind, because your mind is not trained to accept the truth of this kind of changing. or changes. Therefore, being a human is just we have to realize, oh, I got a rare chance. And then even the Buddha, first thing is he got this human, the rare chance, he became a human, and then he got enlightenment. Why not? I got this rare chance. That means I became a human. Rather than calling or being a, birth is suffering. Of course, if we are going to through illusional thoughts or factors, definitely we are going to grasp objects by thinking it is permanent. And then, according to its nature, when it's, dissolved or when it disappears, and then we get upset because we grasp already these kind of things by thinking it is permanent. But if we have trained-minded, to accept the truth of impermanence, of course, conventionally, it's me. But absolutely, we understand nothing is permanent. Anytime we may lose everything. By knowing this truth, just we have to realize being a human is it's a great chance. So I'm so happy being a human. Therefore, I have to use for a good cause this rare chance. Therefore, I'm ready to, or I'm willing to invite everybody to just think this a rare chance or great chance, and then use for a good causes, rather than just thinking, oh, birth is suffering. Of course, if you are go through illusion or delusion, and then you are going to grasp things by thinking it is permanent, and then you are going to violate rules, and then you are going to create lots of greed, and then anger, aversion, etc. And then definitely you are going to accumulate lots of evil karma, bad karma, and then even at this life, you are going to have lots of problems we call as suffering or unsatisfactory situations. Of course, you have to face for. Also, after this death, after this life, definitely you are going to reborn in evil realms or bad realms. Therefore, just think, oh, being a human is so rare. I am happy being a human. I have to use for a good cause. How? Just I have to understand nothing is permanent. Always, for each moment, everything is just losing. By knowing this truth, live at the present moment, be happy what you got, and then act accordingly. Finally, we are able to eradicate all kind of desires, and then to get enlightenment. What we asking for, final goal of our achievement. This is what in the Buddha's teachings, just we are asking you to follow.
So as Venerable Dhammika said, it's very clear that it's up to us to decide, and we have the key to decide whether our birth is suffering or not, or whether we are satisfied or unsatisfied about our birth. And Venerable Sir, you mentioned about acceptance of impermanence and acceptance of the change, which is, I feel, is missing, especially in the current young generation. One of the biggest social issues, especially young generation currently has, is depression, and which lead them to have a state of persistent sadness and lack of interest of pleasure from the activities they enjoyed before. Lord Buddha's advised us to, as you correctly mentioned, sir, try to live in the present moment, not hanker about the past, and not fantasize about the future. So how would Buddhist teaching help us to overcome this issue of depression?
Yes, it's our duty to teach young generation the reality of this life. 30, 50 years ago, we had lots of experience with this nature or with this environment. We had less facilities, but we had enjoyable lives when we talk about lay people. But today it's completely, they are developed with modern technology. Sometimes I have to say this young generation got their chances being on a smartphone or computer. Actually, they got their birth, just I have to say, on their mega phones or smartphones or computer. they don't have kind of realizations of this naturality, that the natural things. So that's why they are creating lots of things instantly, overnight. They want to complete or fulfill their all kind of dreams or desires. So as parents or teachers or clergy or people or venerable monks and parents, of course they have to take their responsibilities. How we educate our young generation? We have to educate them, like I explained before. Even when we offer these beautiful flowers in front of the Buddhist statue, just we have to train our mind to accept the truth of nothing is permanent. Like these blossoms, just we are losing our mental and physical energy, but we are not asking anyone to cry, but to be mindful. That's the nature. Therefore, live in this world, keeping everything behind. Just you have to study well, work hard, find jobs, and then make money, should be rightful. At the same time, do your duties towards your family members. Not only that, do your duties towards these fellow human beings. At the same time, just you have to live at the present moment. I would like to repeat it. And then you can have lots of lessons from the past, but not to be regret or repent. At the same time, you have to plan for your future, but live at the present moment. Living at the present moment, have lessons from the past. At the same time, plan for your future. That means you are having lots of happy thoughts in your mind with what you got through your own action. Otherwise, just you are going to live in the past. At the same time, you are going to live in future. So that's why they are having, as they call, we got stressed out. At the same time, we have to go through depressions, anxiety, anguish, or tension. But if we can realize the real nature of our mind, this life is so rare. We have to use for a good cause, study it, and then, family life and other things. What we are looking for, mental happiness. Therefore, losing our studied so happiness or whatever, what kind of duties we are going to create? Therefore, everything, as we call, we need to find happiness by knowing this truth. Just you have to live at the present moment. We call as sati. Sati means mindfulness. Be mindful with your own action, bodily action. Be mindful with your mental action. Be mindful with your speech or verbal action. That means without violating any rules. Just be happy. At the same time, work harder, study well. At the same time, be happy what you got through your own beautiful effort and energy. This is what, honestly, my advice is to you.
Venerable Sir, I would like to add a small point here, just an addition to, especially to the young generation, the kids. You, as Venerable Dhammika Thero mentioned, you have to live today, and most importantly, you have to learn how to accept your defeat and learn from it. And when you learn from it, you will be definitely able to plan your future in a better way. So that definitely would make you a happy person. And Venerable Sir, it's been an honor to have you here again today. And it's my immense pleasure to wish you blessings of the Noble Triple Gems to continue your noble work, and may you live long.
Thank you. Anumodana.